This question is the BDS campaign, which is a divestment campaign against the Israeli occupation of the West Bank and Gaza, has been a very powerful and effective nonviolence resistance movement against the occupation. Can you talk about any cultural resistance movement in Afghanistan and its potential for success against the U.S. occupation, permanent bases, and the Taliban?
You know, we have no problem with our culture. We had proudful culture, and still we have. But they damage our culture as well, and they give bad view to the good people around the world. And also that they play this dirty policy of the British divide and rule in Afghanistan. And but to the point of your question that at the last that you mentioned, sorry, the question you.
You know, can you talk about the resistance movements that exist in Afghanistan and their potential for success?
Yeah, resistance, one is resistance, and it was two parts. Another part? Yeah, one was resistance, another was... Hope, yeah, you know that to fight with a gun, you know?
No.
With gun or without gun?
Nonviolent resistance.
Yeah.
That's what they're talking about.
You know, no violence, sorry, my English is not good. No violence, no, thank you. No violence resistance, you know, I told you a few examples, for example, few pictures I showed you that this one, you can see on my website, one student of the university, when they did massacre in Farah province in Balabluk last year, 150 civilians has been killed, even used white phosphorus. 19 members of the family of this student in one day has been killed in this massacre. When a student of the university, they got this news, they were crying and they came on the street and they had demonstration. Hundreds of people joined their demonstration. This is a source of hope. While they have gun and they have jail and they are in power. And also Afghanistan Solidarity Party, they had demonstration in 5 provinces. In Farah, in Kabul, in Herat, in Jalalabad, in Mazar Sharif. They invited me as well to join their demonstration. Unfortunately, for security problem, I couldn't go. Again, hundreds of people, they had banners. They never wrote. Each time demonstration in Afghanistan, if ordinary people do, or democratic-minded parties, or a student of the university, they never wrote NATO out of Afghanistan. Always they wrote US out of Afghanistan. You know why? Because these 14 more countries, they follow the same path. And so they do demonstration. This is resistance. The brave women who burn themselves, they do not go to the symbolic court. This is resistance. The second step is to be united. How they can get education? Again, the key is education. So there is no many resistance. Small, also some bigger, sometimes day by day getting bigger. As I told you earlier, the reasons why that glorious uprising happened in Iran and these other Middle East countries, dictators was in power in Afghanistan. It takes time. Even in Afghanistan, even when those countries happen, I'm really, as a person, I'm worried because there I cannot see united leadership in these, Egypt, for example, and Tunis. And also, it is true, dictators removed, but system is still in power. I know some intellectual, even in Afghanistan, that they say, we want to bring changes. And this Abdullah says, we have no problem with the system. We want to bring positive changes. You want to change who? These killers never change. This 3 decades is enough that we experience, and to the world experience them. So then non-violent and violent, let me say a few sentences. We, Indonesia occupied Afghanistan, we have to take gun to fight against occupation, and also with empty hands. Today, I'm one of those, as a person, I'm telling you my experience. I stand up against gun and gun law, which I hate. We are war generation in all of our life. We saw nothing, but today I have to have gun to be alive. So with the passage of time, if they continue this brutal war, this occupation, their fascism, these war crimes, these 3 enemies, my people maybe will take gun or not, but they do resistance. And for defend our mother, and I told you example of Russia as well. So we wish that non-violent. We want, everyone wants, as a human being, especially we are tired of this all kind of these wars.
And if I can also say something about Rawa, which has been resisting the war for a very long time and doing it in all kinds of inventive, brilliant ways. I mean, Rawa discovered the internet long before anyone ever discovered the internet and got their message out long before anyone got their message out. And the Rawa women have been working in covert ways all through Pakistan and Afghanistan for years. So I think there is great resistance. It's just a question of how it's all going to come together and mobilize. Your question.
Okay. You have that question?
Yeah, and thanks, Eve, that you mentioned about when democratic-minded parties like Rawa, sorry, not party, they call themselves organization. But the second question that no choice, right again?
It says Nushin Arbabzadeh from The Guardian said in a March article that the international community had to work with what was there to prevent a new war front in regards to putting warlords in parliament. What is your opinion?
I think she said that. I think she answered that.
I already answered,
yeah, she did.
But just 2 sentences if we have time. You know that Nushin Arbabzadeh, each time when one democratic-minded person is coming or write article or raise their voice or do interviews, then another fundamentalist, Western fundamentalist, I mean that the fundamentalist who is living in the West, who is pro-occupation, pro-war, they write an article or they just try to make confuse good people of this country. And look how ridiculous when you read the article, no need that now I talk about this lady. And in WikiLeaks document, you can see that this is policy of the US government, that these governmental women and also pro-occupation women, even those who are not fundamentalists, but they got fame and wealth from this occupation, they support them, bring them here to put dust in the eyes of good people around the world. I think we need to waste our time about this kind of so-called democratic-minded women. They are just pro-occupation, pro-war, just to tell you heartless, and my message to the Nushin and my Nushin is that if everything in Afghanistan is good, come on, go to there. Why are you enjoying your life? You want to Western bring democracy for you, human rights? If I'm liar. And for our people, the most hated person is those who support the warlords, even will not have bloody hands. Why? Because they share the crimes with them. And this is policy, but this is a political conspiracy of the US government. Many notions, Abdullah and many Abdullah is nothing. They are just chess, chess.
Chess, yeah, they're moved around. If I can just also say something in regards to the idea of merging the Taliban and merging former warlords with post-warlords into new government, how bizarrely insane that is. And without a process of transformation, it's not like they're going to be in massive therapy where they become new and real transformed human beings. Having just experienced the exact same thing in Congo, where one of the major military strategies was to unite two military forces, a Rwandese force and a Congolese force, and the Rwandese force had the year before been raping the Congolese people, and then they decided they would make them head of the new military regime a year later, assuming that they would have different results. And of course, we all knew what an absurd idea that was. I think it's really important all of us use our common sense. Some of this is so basic. The idea that this government is supporting the merging of two warlord forces in government now as if that's going to bring about change. And where is our money going? And we're talking about millions and millions and millions of dollars. We can't pay our teachers in this country. We're shutting down Planned Parenthoods. People are not eating. People are not housed. People can't pay their medical bills. But we're bombing a country and fighting to merge governments of warlords, which we're supporting. We all have to wake up. We all have to get much bolder and stronger and get into the streets and demand that the war in Afghanistan ends. I want us all to take a moment, and I really mean this. I just sit next to Malala and I want to cry because I can't believe I'm in the presence of someone this brave who has solitarily and singly stood up against warlords, against governments, against occupiers, against killers, and is still going because there is so much love and light around her in this world, and we just need to take a moment. Can we just take a moment to really appreciate her and honor her? Thank you.